Couple of things I want to just dispel as I've looked at the conversation meter and talked to others about it. It's really a way to be able to assess where a conversation is or where a relationship is at any given time. It's not necessarily sequential. In other words, I don't have to start at pretense and move to authenticity.
Right.
It's also not a perpetual state, if I understand it correctly. Just because I happen to have the good fortune of being in an authentic relationship or conversation at one point doesn't mean that I'm there forever. I have to constantly be vigilant to be able to maintain that authenticity and stay in that relationship
Right.
in that way. Any other things that you would see that people might misunderstand about the conversation meter, or that you would want them to understand better?
Well, our friend Greg Merton says relationships are not granted in perpetuity. So yes, it's dynamic, it's moving all the time. And Jim Matrone, who you know, who's a partner in Conversant, says something I really like, that you can use our models, including the conversation meter, to diagnose, predict, and prescribe. So diagnose, where is the conversation right now? Predict, if we don't change it, where's that going to end up? And prescribe, well, what do I do if I don't like where it's going to end up and I want to shift it? So that means you could start any place on the meter, because your diagnosis may tell you, oh, we're in mid-range accuracy, or your diagnosis may say, oh, we're in really low pretense. That would give you different predictions and different prescriptions. So it's not linear. You don't have to start in pretense, upgrade to sincere opinion, throw in a little accuracy, and then make it home to authenticity. You actually can go any place on the meter at a given time. There are times you can go directly to authenticity, and those can be very powerful conversations. We find for people that use the meter well over time, you got to get good at catching the conversations that are below 50 and be able to shift them to conversations that are above 50. We say below 50 on the meter, you're producing more waste than value. Above 50, more value than waste.
The other things that seems to come out is below 50, I'm making a lot of statements. And above 50, I tend to be more engaged in questions about accuracy and about the other's concerns and purposes. Any other observations around the meter in that way?
Well, in pretense, if you're making statements, they're not honest. Often pretense shows up, however, as being withheld, people not saying things, people not engaging. What's common about pretense and sincere opinion is it's protective. So I would tend to say or not say things in order to protect a point of view. If I get into sincere differences of opinion, people are thoughtlessly honest a lot. We have these 0 to 3 second opinions. I often ask people, how quickly do people form opinions? And often people will say instantly. Good. Now, how long does it take for them to accurately understand an important point you're making? And people will laugh because, well, it's a lot longer than it takes to have a sincere opinion. Well, the challenge is people develop opinions faster than they have understanding. Great communicators are awake to that and can do something about it. Sincerity is wonderful compared to pretense. However, my personal disconnected, sincere opinion is weak relative to accurately connected, authentically connected conversations. There's so much more that we can say about this. I recommend people to the book because you'll get a lot of detail about how to use it to diagnose, predict, and prescribe.